Namaskar, my friends, and today I'm back here with another Transformers video. Well, this just happens to be a very first podcast, the first of many to come. And on this first episode, we decided to invite a very special guest, a young man who has worked as a VFX artist for the movies Transformers Rise of the Beasts, that recently released the amazing masterpiece Transformers 1, TMNT, Godzilla X Kong, and of course, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, the teaser of which we just saw a couple of days back. Now, this episode, or rather, this podcast, was shot a few days back amidst the hustle and bustle and the chaos of the City of Joy because of the festivities and, of course, the Jagadatri Puja. People here and there, people celebrating, people having fun. And amidst all of this, we shot our very first podcast. So, here we go. I give you Mr. Harsheel Jaiswal. Harsheel Jaiswal. How are you feeling, brother?
I'm very happy. I feel like laughing.
You feel like laughing? Why do you feel like laughing?
Because I'm very happy.
Because you're very happy? We are all very happy. We're very, very happy to have you here in this very cute and very, very cozy cafe here. Harry Potter themed, but we are doing Transformers.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Yes.
Yes. So
I
your
think
work.
so.
Okay. So Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, Transformers 1, the recently released Transformers 1. What a film! What a movie!
I know, right? It deserves $1 billion, but let's just not talk about
Yeah,
it.
we'll get to that part a little bit later. So tell me something. First things first. You worked in Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and you were also a part of the special
Yes,
screening
the
committee as
early
well.
screenings.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well. But the question that I have for you right now, how did it feel to finally see your name in the end credits roll up? How did it
On
feel
the end
to?
credits, okay. I felt like my dream, my ambitions, everything has come to a reality. I was the happiest person on this planet. At that time, I realized that, okay, I need to continue this. This is not going to be the first and the last. I need to continue this. I have to keep up with this.
I am a CGI artist myself. At least, we have spoken behind the scenes so many times about our love for movies, especially Transformers. But to actually have your name in the credits, that's too for a Transformers film, and you have been a lifelong Transformers fan. You must have been on top of the world.
Yes, exactly. I was very happy at that time because I saw my name plenty of times in the early credits, in the early screenings. So I did not wait in the theaters actually because the movie did not had any post-credit scenes. If they actually had one, I would have known that, okay, so this is going to
So
happen.
how did you come to know that your name is in the credits? Like you?
So there was one of my friends whom I worked with. So they actually stayed through the entire credits to capture their names. So they captured mine as well. So they said that, okay, your name was there. Did you realize that your name is in the lead digital artist? So I said, okay. I didn't knew about where was my name exactly, but he told me that, okay, you are in the lead CGI artist team. So I felt very, very happy.
CGI artist, wow. So you've always wanted to be a CGI artist, a VFX artist? Yes. Always wanted to be there?
I did have some other dreams, but my very first dream was to work in movies. In any way, I just wanted to contribute, and especially in Transformers movies. Whenever I saw these big bots on the screen fighting each other, beating the shit out of each other, I just enjoyed it so much as a child, and my inner child still wants to continue this, and this is why I'm pursuing this career.
I think, you probably, grew up watching Transformers Prime quite a lot. As well as the Bayformers movies, Michael Bay movies. They're known as Bayformers, in case our audience did not know. They're known as Bayformers. So there we go. Yeah. So, you probably must have grown up watching all of that.
Yes, I watched a lot of Transformers Prime. I remember when I watched the first episode and I was so fascinated. that side by side, I just started comparing the cartoon series and the live action movies, and I found that almost everything is similar. The action, the background music, the environment of the show, and the OG Peter Cullen's voice,
Oh, yes.
that touched everything.
We'll get to Peter Cullen in just a minute because you told me something and I absolutely geeked out. It was amazing.
That
It
was the
amazing.
same reaction. Like almost every one of us were, we didn't expect him to show up. So I just really want to share this experience with all the audiences. That it was December, I think, if I'm not wrong, and it was 24th December, a day before Christmas. So we all were working, and
You were working
Yes.
in India at the time?
yes,
Okay.
I was working from home, and we were on a meeting. So we were working like normal. Everything was normal. We were about to wrap up, and then we heard a voice saying, "I am so proud of you, Autobots." And at that time, I realized, oh my God, is that? And then he opened up his camera. We saw Peter Cullen. At that time, I was slapping my fist that okay, oh my God, this is happening. So we didn't get much time with him, but he motivated us a lot. His few speeches, his few words motivated us so much that impact is still inside me.
It just, you're working for Optimus Prime. You're literally working with Optimus Prime for Optimus Prime.
Yes,
That feeling must have.
I did
really
not
got you all pumped up.
expect him to show up. None of us did. So after that day, we realized that okay, we have to work even harder for the film.
As if working with ILM, and ILM is basically Industrial Light and Magic, the VFX production that was founded by George Lucas for Star Wars mainly, but then they have not done a lot of movies. They have just done a few thousands, maybe. not a lot of
Few
films.
thousands.
Few thousands.
Few thousands.
And they are a legendary production, VFX production house. They just come and go every now and then. They just produce some of the brilliant artists in the world, and they are just amazing. They are super cool, and that's it. That's a very normal everyday life for an ILM employee, isn't it?
That's
So-
very normal for them.
Yes.
It's
so,
not normal for me. It's not normal for all of us.
So the thing is, as if working for ILM, or rather working with ILM in a Transformers movie wasn't enough, and you actually had Peter Cullen come and say, "Hey, you know what? You guys are doing a good job." That must have been amazing.
That must have been amazing. It was. I can't still get over that thing.
It's quite obvious. This is
Okay,
Peter Cullen.
because
This is,
yes, I did not expect him to show up. I like, this feeling. I cannot explain it with my words. It's huge, and it is one of the most memorable days of my life. I'll always remember this day. I'll never forget it. Nor will my partners, my colleagues. They'll never forget this day. So at that time, we were thinking that okay, this movie has to break 1 billion. We will work
This
day
was
and
for
night
Transformers
for
Rise
this.
of the Beasts.
Yes, this was for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Then we started working so hard. We did almost everything. We finished our work earlier than expected. Because that energy in us, that adrenaline which just hit us so hard, we just started working, and we realized that okay, we have finished it way before expected. We finished the 95% of the CGI was finished by the second trailer of the movie, before the second trailer of the movie. And I think the second trailer came out somewhere in April, 19th April or something. So we were almost done with the CGI.
Yeah, speaking of the trailer, when Transformers Rise of the Beast released, the first trailer, the CGI looked a little. Am I right? Because
Yes,
it
yes,
looked
you're
a little
absolutely right.
unpolished.
Yes.
Because when I saw the thing, I was like, okay, they have definitely missed a few render passes here. So, by the way, for our audience, if you could just tell the audience what render passes actually means.
Okay, so render passes is basically the polishing. These render passes actually help the characters to look more realistic. Okay, So, the luster, the metal surfaces, the reflections which they show when they are on light on the screen. So, this is it. And okay, talking about render passes, I made a lot of mistakes there. It was because, almost because of me.
Okay, you are the reason why Transformers ROTB trailer wanted not to.
I was the reason, and what happened is they told us that okay, when you're making a trailer, the CGI is just starting. The production of the CGI has just started for the movie. You don't make anything final. It's a rough sketch to show the audiences that okay, we are making something like this. So you should keep in mind, you should keep your expectations like this, and this is basically the plot. This is basically what we are going to show you in the film. Okay, so this is it. And what happened is I made a lot of masking errors. What happened is Optimus Prime's shoulder got inside his chest, just passed in.
God.
I don't know how many of you just realized it, but it was me. It was because of me.
Well, I'm. The comment section is going to really come after you now. Okay, just because of this guy. This guy's getting. He's on the podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for that. But yes, we did fix everything up because obviously the studio has always been listening to the fans, and they know that we have made a mistake and we need to rectify it. So let's do it as quickly as possible.
Because when I was going through YouTube when the ROTB trailer came out, there were quite a lot of people who actually criticized the thing. Well, hey, you know what, the CGI doesn't look right and this and that. And I remember a few of my friends who came up to me and they said that, they were not very happy about how things looked on screen. And I kept on telling them that, hey, you know what? Yeah, just hold your horses, wait it out, because Transformers films are very heavy CGI films, right? That's what people want to see, the big bot fights, right?
Yes, they take a lot of time to, just develop these scenes. One scene, I still remember that one scene took us 1 month to complete, to finish. Especially the transformation scenes. And this is why Michael Bay has done a very good job in making out the transformation scenes. Because if you see in the first movie, there were so much. Yes, the 2007 original Transformers 1 movie. So that had lots of transformations, and the transformations were very detailed. If you see, the camera rolling around Optimus Prime, showing that which part is going where, he's standing up. So truck is just moving its engines, its parts, everything is moving. You see a lot of gears. So there were lots and lots of details.
So the thing is, a lot of people don't like the Bayformers. They feel it's not G-Vani enough, and a lot of people don't know that Mr. Michael Bay is actually one of the main producers of Transformers 1. They didn't see the credit list that well. It was there. Steven Spielberg, Michael Bay, they were there as. Yes, both of them were, because
in almost every project.
Yes,
every project.
Yes, so he was there. So a lot of people did not know that. So yeah, take that, audience, in case you didn't know.
You should.
So because see, a lot of people say that Michael Bay verse is not very good and that, but let's face it, Transformers was pretty much a dead brand, right? And Michael Bay took that brand and turned it into something that we know today. Before DC's Justice League in the movies, before the Avengers, we had Transformers. They were the ones
back
saving
in 2007.
Saving
and
the
even
world.
John Favreau, the director of the first MCU movie, I think it was Iron Man. Iron Man 1. He also addresses in many of his interviews that it was only because of the success of Transformers movies we got motivated and we made Iron Man.
Right.
Because if you see the CGI of Iron Man and Transformers, they are very similar to each other.
Right.
At least for the first two movies. And at least till the Avengers. I don't want to talk about the Avengers. Like, if you see the climax of Avengers 1 and you compare it with Dark of the Moon, you'll find so many Easter eggs. You'll find so many similarities in the CGI models.
Right.
You'll be like, okay, so the director basically just went to the set of Dark of the Moon, and he saw everything, how is everything working, and then he
we
came
both
here
just
and directed.
and we both just managed to get a lot of fans very angry about what we just said.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Again. Coming after us, that's completely fine. So, tell me something. You worked as the lead digital artist, right? Lead digital artist for Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Now, digital artist is a it's basically an umbrella term, right?
Many things have come.
Yes. So, what was your job description there? Like, what were you doing in Transformers: Rise of the Beast? Any particular sequence or scene that you worked for?
Yes, my very first sequence for Rise of the Beast was the cloning scene where Mirage takes Noah with him.
Okay.
When the film actually starts showing Autobots. Okay, so when they are on the bridge and the police car is chasing them, so that chase sequence, I've worked a lot on that scene. Okay, so we had to clone lots of cars, lots of Porsches. Okay, and we had to blend it with the live action shot because it was very important for blending. Now, blending means...
That was a pretty iconic scene.
Yes.
Very iconic, yeah.
It was very Generation 1 accurate.
Yeah, very, very, very G1-y and wow, okay.
Yes.
You know, initially, Mirage turns into a Porsche. Initially, when I saw the Porsche, I was like, or Porsche, as some people like to call it, Porsche.
Yes.
So, when he turned into the Porsche, I was like, is that Jazz? Because Jazz had a Porsche alt.
That was a Jazz reference, actually.
That was
the
Jazz
director
reference?
Intentionally chose Porsche for this because he wanted to show a Easter egg, basically. That Jazz also had the same paint scheme and almost the same alt mode. So yes, it was Stephen Campbell Jr.'s idea. So this is what we were dealing with, and I remember that he transformed there once. Like when the police car was chasing him, what happened is he actually hit the car, and then Mirage turned back, and then he transformed back again.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes. So that was done on a green screen.
Right.
Actor Anthony Ramos was sitting on a chair. Okay.
The one who played Noah.
Yes, the one who played Noah. So what happened is we took a 360 shot. Okay, so the camera took a 360 shot. The chairs were also rotating. Okay, so everything happened like this. Then now that is the live action footage.
So the entire cloning sequence with Mirage and Noah, because that was a very fast sequence. A very pivotal scene.
Yes,
because that's when just after that Noah meets the rest of the Autobots, and then Mirage and Noah have this kind of a buddy relationship, which is very cool. I quite like that. So that must have been a lot of fun to work.
That was a lot of fun, and it was challenging at the same time. This was about the first scene, and now I had to work on the final battle sequences, and that was crazy.
Yeah, because we actually had a full crowd of these Terracons, and like in visual effects terms, we basically call them crowds. So you have all these crowds, and that must have been very, very heavy on the rendering part as well.
Yes, exactly.
Rendering, again, for the audiences, basically means producing the output. You know, whatever animation you do on screen, you finally render them out so that you actually have it ready for the editor to start working on. So it must have been very render heavy.
Yes, it was very heavy. It was very confusing because almost all the models were same. Okay, if you see their faces, their forearms, everything was the same. So we had to deal with lots of confusion. Then we started figuring out that so there were we actually started figuring out things that that this is at this distance. It's far from the screen, so they are not a very important part of the scene. Just like if you remember, RC was on Rhinox.
Right.
Okay,
right.
And she jumped, and then she teamed up with Wheeljack. Right. So this is how we started figuring out that the sequences are supposed to go like this. So I made that sequence where Optimus jumps on the bridge, like when he and Scourge are about to fight. Okay, when he kills Scourge, basically, the real power of a Prime, that scene is very iconic.
My
That scene
was
is
badass. That was
Peter Quill.
that is
just did.
that is again a lot of people who love the whole G1 Optimus Prime. That was Bayformers Optimus Prime coming out. I'll show you a true power of the Prime, and this rips his head off. That was pretty cool.
Face Ripper.
Yeah, face ripper. Yeah, Bayformers Optimus used to rip faces, rip arms, rip heads.
Decepticons forced him to do so.
Right. That's
Yeah,
one way of
obviously.
looking at it.
Yes. Because you pushed a person so much, he's losing his lieutenants. He's losing his army. And more importantly, it is his family.
Right.
The rest of the remaining Autobots. So you start killing them, and what will the person do? As a leader, you have to take steps.
I just want to ask you something. You just spoke about Wheeljack.
Yes.
And yes, I am one of those guys who did not really like this rendition of Wheeljack. What was the idea behind that? I mean, why not give us what Wheeljack looked like in the Bumblebee movie? Why give us this version of Wheeljack?
Pablo. If you remember.
Look, I don't have a problem with ethnicity. Sure, you can get an ethnicity. It's all diverse. It's all good. But why change the design? You have any idea about why they did that?
Actually, Stephen Campbell Jr. has, responded to many of these questions. Like, if you see the Alfonso Nation podcast with Stephen Campbell Jr., he did ask this question that why did you do it? So, I'm going to say the same thing. It's because of controversy. How do you attract the audiences?
When you have Optimus Prime in the movie, and then you have a character like Primal, a big character like Primal, you really need controversy after that.
It's a part of the marketing. You'll get a new design for the character.
And the toy.
Yes,
That's what Hasbro does.
It is all about it.
My old relationship with Hasbro.
That's
I love you, Hasbro. I have nothing against you.
same.
Maybe you are working with Hasbro. You shouldn't have a problem, but I honestly don't have a problem with you, Hasbro. I love you. Almost. But
almost.
So I don't know, when I saw that character, I was like, why?
Why?
Why did they do this? What was the requirement? Because I'll tell you why. When Bumblebee came onto the screens in the cinemas, when I saw Wheeljack, and I think I speak for a lot of other Transformers fans. Look, I love the G1 Transformers. I love the Michael Bay Transformers as well. I love Transformers Prime, huge fan. But when that Wheeljack came, I was like, oh man, that's what Wheeljack should have been like. That is what he should be.
The live
and then
action
in ROTV,
they spoiled it again.
Yeah,
I think they are working.
Was it a ploy to sell the toy? Was it something like that?
Something like that.
You can't really.
I can't. If I say, I'm fired.
All right.
I hope you guys understand.
Okay. So now let's quickly change gears. Let's just come to Transformers 1. I'm sure the audiences would really like to know about Transformers 1. What a movie. I think that was one of the best movies I have watched in a long time. I think that was...
It's a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. The fans love it, the normal audiences love it, the critics love it. Now, everyone loves it.
Before I get to Transformers 1, you mentioned to me that you were a part of the special test screen audience for ROTB and Transformers 1. And I remember on Instagram, you had messaged when we were having a chat, and you messaged me that, if you can just sit through the first half, the second half, and the final act really gets very, very cool. It gets very special. And boy, I loved the first half, but the final act was wow.
You can't explain it because, working on these iconic characters, especially when you are explaining their origin, you need to be very careful. Josh Cooley took care of everything. Like, he was even involved in the CGI team.
Josh Cooley?
Yes. He was sitting with us and he was telling us that, okay, this should look like this. I have an idea, okay, let's work on this. So, he tried to keep things very screen accurate.
If I'm not wrong, he's the same director for Toy Story 4, right?
Yes, exactly. And he adds lots of emotions to these characters.
That's quite evident. I watched Toy Story 4, so I
If you have seen the final battle between Optimus Prime and Megatron in Transformers 1, when D16 becomes Megatron, he's basically crying. If you see,
that was a homage to the G1 when he's banished from Iacon.
yes,
Right.
he was crying at that time. So this, I don't know how many of the people noticed it, but there's a YouTube channel. I think I can speak about it. Yes. Farmers, if you know. Okay, so this guy is basically he rewatches the movies and he finds out some amazing details.
Right, some hidden details which the fans usually don't get to notice.
Yes. So that I'm very happy that some of the people actually noticed. There are many Easter eggs, even in the environment. You see, many of the people said that this was the only movie to showcase all the 13 primes. But yes, I think this is the only movie was showcased all the 13
you just
primes.
mentioned about 13 primes. If you remember in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, when Sam actually is dead and then his soul is called by the 13 primes, the same scene was sort of recreated when Orion Pax died. And when,
when he was falling into the heart of Primus. Orion Pax.
Right. When Alpha Trion was, giving, Orion Pax that particular monologue or speech. Until
your sacrifice for the greater good has proven you worthy. Arise, Optimus Prime. At that point, Josh Cooley thought that this scene is not going to work. Okay, he was not very confident.
He was wrong.
He was not confident with that.
It worked.
But he showed it to the audiences, the early screenings. Actually, I think in the entire Transformers history, this movie had almost 10 to 15 times early screenings. There were so many early screenings. The audiences loved the movie in every single screening. They said that it should not be, thought that, okay, it's a kid's movie just because it's animated. Animated movies can also be mature. This film,
we have seen that so many times,
was so mature. If you realize that, two friends turn into enemies at time. And you can't change the way how the story ends. This is it. So it was, very emotional to work on these characters. And
the thing is, we have seen Optimus and Megatron fight at least 1 million times on screen, but every time they break up, their friendship breaks up.
It feels sad. It
really
hurts.
Even now, after so many years, it really hurts. In the comics, we have seen it time and again in the comics, in the in the movies, and Transformers Prime. It still hurts. Going back to Transformers 1, you had worked on a very special sequence in that film. In fact, you did a lot of work. We'll talk about the other works a bit later. But the one special sequence, please tell us what that sequence was.
Actually, it was the ending sequence. The Prime gets the matrix of leadership, and when he pumps out of the core, and when he lands on the surface, that was not a very long sequence, but the most important sequence of the movie. So Josh Cooley wanted fans to work on it, not professionals, because if you are a fan, you will work your heart out, and that is what we all did. We were not thinking that, okay, we'll get paid or anything like that. No, we are going to work because we love Transformers. And Josh Cooley, I think he watched almost all the shows, all the cartoons, all the movies, everything before making Transformers 1. So, and he's a very emotional director. He easily gets attached with these characters. So he wanted the audiences to feel the same. He wanted the movie to look colorful, more dramatic. Every scene was dramatic.
That's homage to the G1 cartoons as well. Because Transformers in general, if you have a look, they actually really have some color. Although sometimes the colors are muted because, let's face it, Transformers storylines are actually very dark. They're supposed to be dark and foreboding because it's all about the war. It's all about the whole...
It's very political.
Yeah, it's very political. Absolutely. So, I understand that. But yeah, I quite like that part. In fact, when the trailer first released, when they launched it in space...
why did they do it?
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I wasn't very happy looking at it. I was like, oh God. What have they done? I judged too early. I judged way too early.
Yes.
Only to be proven wrong. And I'm so happy that I was proven wrong because it's one hell of a film. So you worked in Transformers 1. You did another thing as well that I think the entire world got to see. It was up on the hoardings. It was up in the cinema hall, the theaters.
Yes, the posters. I basically, for the audiences who don't know what I actually did, I made a lot of posters for the movie. So I made the 4DX poster, and it was basically based on the concept arts. And if you don't know, concept arts are very important throughout the production of the film. The pre-production stage, then the production stage, and the post-production, and the marketing.
So how did you do it? Like, do you have to draw things like traditionally, or do you straight away get to the 3D characters and just put them there and just composite them in the scene? Like, how does that work?
So we draw first. We need to have a rough idea that where the characters are going to stand.
Right.
How is the lighting going on in the scene? Where will be the title of the film? Then there are many trademarks like IMAX, 4DX, 3D Screen X. So according to the formats. And if we follow today's trends, every single theater, just like there's 3D Screen X, there's 4DX, there is IMAX, everyone wants their own personal posters.
Right.
So we have to make them according to the wish of the format screen.
But speaking of, I have so many questions coming to me right now. The thing is, as a fan, when you talk about 3D models being used, we get the Studio Series toys by Hasbro, right?
Yes.
So how are the 3D models designed? Like, who designs them? How do you do it? Because just want to get into a technical aspect of this.
Okay, so this task is basically given to engineers. So these are modeling engineers. What they do is...
Are they the same people who make the toys?
Yes.
Same people who make the toys?
Yes.
Because the moment you said engineers, I understood. Okay.
Because these are the guys who design the entire model. Okay. And they know where the parts are going to move, rotate, or even twist and get inside some hollow parts. So they know everything. So they design the model accordingly. Obviously, you cannot make it 100% transformable model. You definitely have to get into, you need to get used to this. It's not possible to make a 100% screen accurate model. So this is why there are minor differences between the actual screen version and the release toys. Like if you see in the Studio Series. So this is why Hasbro has started the Studio Series. They want the fans to recreate the scenes from the movie. This is why they provide a backdrop.
So basically the engineers come up with these things, and this is basically the figure. This is the SS-100 Bumblebee, a very iconic character, but it's not exactly screen accurate, as
It's not very screen. Actually, it's 80 to 90% screen accurate.
Right.
Because if you see the leg parts, the wheels and everything, so it's not very accurate. But for the audiences who don't know, these toys are designed before the CGI models, the actual CGI models. Because if you remember,
they're designed on a particular concept art or something.
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens is these engineers are given the task to design the toys before the CGI models. Okay, so they get a rough idea and they know that okay, the toy is going to look like this and the actual CGI model is going to look like this. Okay, and this is why if you see on the screen, they are more humanoid. And right here in the toys, they actually look like robots. Because there are many gears, there are many parts which are moving and getting attached somewhere. So this is why the toys are made before And these toys actually help a lot in leaking up things.
Yeah, there are a lot of leaks, lot of spoilers before
The release of the actual trailer or the first poster of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is, with Rise of the Beast, I think an Optimus Primal figure got leaked. And that gave the audiences the idea, okay, so this is going to be a Beast Wars based movie. Originally, it was going to be a cameo type of movie for the Beasts. It was not going to be titled as Rise of the Beasts.
Okay.
It was going to be the Return of Unicron or something like that. It would be related to Terrorcons actually. The title would be more related to the Terrorcons. But then after the audiences saw the toy leak, the studio was so angry on the man who actually leaked it. So they decided that, okay, now we can't help anything, just make something out of the Beast Wars. And this happened, I think, before COVID.
So this was just a decision that they took just for that. They did not...
Because they could not remove every single reference from the entire internet. The internet is huge.
Right.
If you post it on Pinterest, on Reddit, everywhere, the fans will get...
Yeah,
okay.
fans will, yeah.
And so there are many websites you can...
And then we actually have the toy reviewers as well who, keep giving us, get audience ideas and what else.
So,
right.
This was kind of very annoying for the studio, and then they decided that, okay, do whatever you feel like.
You have also worked with Paramount India as well. You were a part of their marketing team. Transformers 1 did so well in our hearts, but unfortunately not very well in the box office.
That's sad, and the studio has learned a lot from the marketing strategy. Actually,
you think the marketing could have been better because you have India is such a huge market. India and China, especially India, it's such a huge market for pop culture, and there were barely any people in the cinema hall. When I went there, even I think this 1/4 of the hall was full. It was not even half filled. It was kind of heartbreaking because it's Optimus Prime. It's
yes, and no one was there. I know, right? The marketing could have been a lot more better. So what the studio actually originally planned was, okay, let the audiences think that this is a kids type of movie. Okay, obviously the parents are going with the kids because they want to introduce these characters to the children. And when they themselves watched the movie, they realized that, oh my god, this was this.
Tell me something. Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. Some people loved it, some people hated it, some people hated it from their core. Some people liked it, some people were okay with it. What happened? What went wrong there? Was Chris Hemsworth supposed to be the one who was supposed to do Optimus Prime and Scarlett Johansson as the leader one? Was that
actually the studio? If this is very practical, because you should know that Peter Cullen, he's aging up,
right?
And he does get tired on the in behind the scenes. Right. So this happens.
He's 80 plus, I think, right?
Yes. So what happens is he's also tired. So he needs to get a lot of rest. He has his own medicines. He has his own, health checkups, care.
Right.
So obviously he needs to take a lot of care.
Right.
So this is why the studio opted for Chris Hemsworth, because he's a good face for Hollywood.
Yeah, he's a household name.
Yeah. So you should give this character a face who the audiences know. Like Brian Tyree Henry, everyone knows him. He has played many characters throughout this year. If you talk about Godzilla X Kong,
you worked in that film as well.
Yes, I worked in Godzilla X Kong as well. So these characters are very famous. So the actors should be they have to be famous.
A household name through they can bring.
Yes. Right. So this is why they used Chris Hemsworth and Scarlett Johansson.
But don't you think, after Oran Pax became Optimus Prime, that they should have brought back Peter Cullen? Because that I think the whole transformation would have, I don't know, I'm just guessing here. Would that have something that?
Yeah, because it was barely for seconds, I think, not even minutes. Because when Orion becomes Optimus Prime, he doesn't speaks a lot much. And Frank Welker, actually the studio thought that just for 1 or 2 minutes, we spent the entire movie with these actors. So what is the use of bringing back the actors?
But are we going to get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker back for the next film that they're planning with G.I. Joe?
The studio is actually approaching them. We don't know. Let's see if it works out. Because they have to showcase Megatron.
What's going on behind the scenes? What's happening? Are you allowed to?
Not allowed to say
something.
I'm not allowed to say much, but I can only say that the studio has many plans. Some are bad, some are good, some are very good, and some are very bad. So let's see what happens. We cannot, predict it.
But now that the dust has settled and you've worked in, so let me just understand something. The dust has settled. ROTB done. Transformers 1 done. You are currently working on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, I'm not working on it because there's a person who does everything himself, and that is none other than Tom Cruise.
Yes, he just has the knack of doing everything himself.
Yes.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
And he's crazy.
I think crazy is just an understatement to define what he does.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you are now working for this film. You have just started. Working with multiple directors, like how, different is it working with Josh Cooley and then Stephen Caple Jr.? Two are very separate directors, very different directors. They
have their own styles.
And bring their own energy. When you look back at these things, you have worked with two of the top directors when it comes to CGI and, in modern day, in current film, I will not say modern day because there are some great directors, legends, absolutely. But in current day filmmaking, you work with two of the best directors. Three. Tom Cruise is a director, producer, everything. I'm not going to count him because counting him amongst just a director or just an actor is wrong because he's everywhere. He's omnipresent, omnipotent, pretty much. As an artist, there probably is a sense of fulfillment in you.
Yes. I feel that, there are two different directors and they are different, but their thoughts are similar somewhere.
They're all fans.
Because they're working on like if you see Stephen Caple Jr., he's a huge Biswas fan. Okay. And Josh Cooley, he's a huge Transformers fan. He loves everything. If you have noticed, he followed lots of designs, the styles from Transformers Prime.
As well as the music.
Yes.
The music. Yeah.
Brian Tyler. He returned.
What music, wow.
Oh my god. The soundtrack was absolutely amazing.
Again, Josh Cooley is also supposed to be credited here because he's the director after all.
Yes. And the moment when they brought back Transformers Prime's original theme, I think it's called the resting place of the Primes in Transformers 1. That soundtrack actually got me crying. When they were playing it, it was actually going on in the meetings as well. And then I realized, oh my god, this is so nostalgic.
Yeah. I remember, watching this film with my wife. And when that music, and my wife is also a huge Transformers Prime fan. When that came, she's like, hey, that's Transformers Prime. Yeah, I know. That's Transformers Prime. That was amazing.
So that was for the die-hard fans.
Yeah.
The fans got what they wanted. The fans won in this movie.
Absolutely.
And definitely there's a sequel coming up.
Yeah. Are you confirming this right now? It's happening?
Probably. It's a 90-10.
90-10%. So I'm taking it that it's coming. Wow. I think you're the first person who has just confirmed this.
No, actually there are many reports.
Okay.
I'm not the very first person. I'm connected, so it feels that this might actually happen.
Okay.
So, yes, it's happening.
Wow.
It is happening because
I cannot wait to see the Autobots and Decepticons team up to take on the Quintessons. I cannot wait.
That's too early for them to team up actually, because the second movie is going to be more. Oh my god! No, I'm not supposed to say it. Right. Sorry, I'm so sorry. No.
That's okay.
No. I can't.
I
did not reveal anything, right? Did I?
No,
I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
No,
fine,
you did not.
fine.
I wish you did, but you didn't. I really wish you did, but you didn't.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Studios, if you are watching this, I'm very sorry.
Well, it was wonderful talking to you, Harsheel.
The same, I feel the same.
You know,
When two fans meet each other,
yeah.
there are so many things we can talk on.
it was wonderful talking to you. And
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for
Thank you so
coming.
much.
Thank you so much, man. It's just such an honor and a privilege talking to you. You work with the likes of Peter Cullen, and you've also made some drawings that you wanted to show us before we end the podcast. We actually have a bunch of stuff that you want to show us.
Drawings.
So I think we'll quickly have that.
Yes.
And these are certain drawings, certain concepts that you made.
No, these are my personal drawings. Oh my god.
No, that's okay. It's all right. That's okay. That's all right. We'll just quickly fix the camera. It's a very, very tight space, so I don't really blame Harsheel for what has happened. So these are some of your drawings.
I don't know if you like my drawings or not.
Okay.
Because some of them are incomplete.
All right.
Oh.
So, my God, that's a lot of drawings. My goodness. So what we'll do is we'll be showing the audiences these wonderful sketches that you have made. My goodness. Wow. Just quickly show you guys. This is. Go ahead.
This is my concept
It's a
for
concept for-
Terminator versus Predator.
There you go.
I don't think it's going to happen, but Disney, if you are watching this, please consider making it.
Right. Wow. And you made a lot of drawings. And we have also got. All right, there are a lot of things. I really can't show the audience that. But this is what is this the interior? Oh, okay. We have this is Optimus Prime, right? And you have written here IDW Comics. Is that because you were working with the IDW Comics at the time?
Yes. It's a lot, before.
Okay.
So
Before
a
you
lot
did
of time. Yes.
Lots of drawings here. I can see. Yes, one of your favorite characters. You told me about them.
This is Godzilla.
Right. So we'll be putting all these things, in as a little presentation for the audience. All right, Harsheel, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful talking to you, and of course, sharing all these wonderful ideas and talking about Transformers in general. This is amazing. Thank you so much, and there's nothing much to add, but till all are one.
Till all are one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, this was the end of the first episode of our podcast. It was wonderful talking to Harsheel, and we also spoke a lot about Transformers, visual effects, movies in general, behind the scenes as well. It was wonderful having him with us, as well as his mum. And big thanks to Ritz Cafe for hosting us and ensuring that we not only get a smooth podcast in, but also some lovely snacks and lovely cups of coffee. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we loved shooting it and creating this for you. We'll be back again with another podcast. And of course, stay tuned for a lot more reviews coming your way. We have a lot in store. I know we have not been very active in the last few days, but have no worries. We are not going anywhere. We are right here and we have a lot of content coming up for you. Till then, please take very good care of yourselves and always remember, till all are one. Thank you.